thanks, Walter. And for many years, I lived for this sport. It totally absorbed me. It became the biggest passion. I spent hours out on this water every single day, whatever weather was. I just throw myself out there. This is actually one of the first movies I have of myself when I'm practicing in South Africa. And actually, when I was on thanks to all my sponsors, I had the capacity to really live for this and wake up every morning and really love what I was doing. And when I was on the top of my career, I found myself in the Philippines, once again trying to win another world championship. And I remember a specific trick I really needed to do in order to get to the finals. And I felt how I was doubting if I would manage that trick or not. When I'm in my run, I'm doing all the tricks I should do, but only thinking about the last one, doubting. And when I'm finally there, ready to leave the surface, I still doubt. And all of you who know that, competing situation, that's not a good thing to do, right? I throw myself up in the air, lose the control, and from being very into this competition, fully engaged, I ended up here. And you can't see anything, right? And neither did I. Because during this crash, I hit my head very hard and ended up in a dark room, a physical dark room. Literally, it was, one bed, covered windows, 4 walls, no light, no sound, and no activity like reading or watching TV. Because my brain was so hardly damaged and I suffered a serious concussion. So in order to heal my brain, I need to stay in this room and take away all the stimuli. And stay there until I become better. For how long, no one knew. And time felt endless in there. Days become weeks and weeks become months. And I realized I need some kind of strategy here to not lose my mind. And I spent 3 months in this room. And people ask me, Malin, how did you manage to go through that room? I have problems sometimes to be with myself when I can't sleep. But I was lucky. Because during my sport career, I had already started studying. And what did I study? Cognitive neuroscience and positive psychology, focusing on how our brain works and what motivation is all about to achieve what is important for us. And back then when I was studying, I had no idea what impact this knowledge and this research would have on my own life, especially during this time. Because after 3 months, I could gradually expose my brain for stimuli again and had to relearn to actually take on new information. And after a year, I could finally leave that dark room. During this time, one thing that really motivated me was that I visualized myself back on the board. That's where I'm heading, that's where I'm going, right? I'm going back there, whatever it takes, whatever I need to relearn or learn again, I'm going there. But after 1 year, the doctors were all convinced. We know that the brain, it has a huge capacity to change and it is plastic, but my brain will never heal 100%, so I can go back to that sport. And I realized I have to give up my passion. But I didn't only lose my passion, I also lost my long-term goal that I was trying to develop for. And I really questioned myself, what's my path going forward? What path should I follow? How would I apply myself, my skills, my talents in the business life? How would that look like? Is there an arena for practice my skills? One reason I flourished in kitesurfing was because of the culture, because of the people. In extreme sport, you fail 9 out of 10 times. When you fail, there's applause, there's wows. I didn't feel that when I started in trying to find a way in my work life. But I realized it came back to one single idea that I had to practice in my dark room, and that's to enter a beginner's mind. Dare to be there. And this is something that a well-known scientist, Carol Dweck, called is a growth mindset. I know many in this room know her very well and her science, and it's very clear that change and growth, it's about your mindset. Depending on what mindset you have, you will take different decisions, take different behaviors, which of course would lead you to different situations and progress, and in the long term also what you contribute with and what you achieve. And she is very clear that you can define them, mindset, into two different mindsets. There's a fixed mindset and there's a growth mindset. And to put you into one more model for today, fixed mindset is, this research, it became so core for me that ever since I recovered and finished my degree, I've been working in different organizations, how we can implement this knowledge in both schools and companies. And actually today, when I'm working with Wallenberg Academy and SelfLeaders and really see how we can implement it, now I can see the huge difference all this research and these tools have made in so many different areas for teenagers, for how teachers create space in the classroom, how leaders create the safe space for their employees, and the impact it has. Because with a fixed mindset, we believe that our abilities and intelligence we can't change it. We have what we have, and that's what you get, right? And we concern so much about looking good in front of others and do well that we would like to take shortcuts just to get to the great results. And we focus on the performance mainly. And we very easily want to put people into boxes for what they can do and what they can't do. And we judge people very much and have hard to actually do mistakes ourselves. While with a growth mindset, of course you understand that we are all born differently, with different circumstances, but how well you will progress and how much you will develop is dependent on the time, the effort, and the strategies you're using along the way. You believe that abilities and intelligence can be developed, as this whole day is all about. With this growth mindset, you're much more open for mistakes. You dare to actually, whatever feelings you have, it's not that when we have a growth mindset that we don't have any feelings. Of course it hurts doing mistakes, and it's actually hard to put in those kind of efforts and always be open and question yourself how you can change strategies in order to reach the next level. It's still a lot of emotions, but the difference between growth and fix is with the growth, you accept and embrace those emotions, make them human, and keep going for what's important for you to grow anyway. But with a fixed mindset, you'll often let those feelings steer you. And of course, it's not that we are either or the other. And we are definitely not, as Thomas mentioned in the morning here, that we are born with one or another. This is skills itself that can be practiced through life. And in some situation, it's okay to be both. In some situations, we tend to be more fixed. In some situations, we tend to be more growth. And we all can relate to situations in groups where we can definitely get into a fixed mindset because what the feeling are, if it's safe or not. And the opposite, if we are in a more safe and trustable group. And one very, very important thing here is to be aware of my different mindsets. When do I see myself fall into the fixed mindset? When do I judge others for what they can and what they can't do? How well do I open up for it? How big role model, as Stefan was telling, am I in line with the growth mindset? And even though many people now think no, I'm 100% growth. That's a typical sign that you're so fixed. And to just make you an overview of the typical situations where we tend to act in different for the fixed and the growth mindset. The most important thing is, most of us people, we actually don't seek development. We seek for confirmation for our abilities and what we do. And to be honest, we all know that's not growth, right? And we can also be open to say that high status in this room today, it's actually to know a lot about adult development, right? To have a lot of experience about it, to say the right words and have a lot to put in about this experience. But what if we would choose a growth mindset, go into a beginner's mind and dare to be vulnerable that we don't know everything. And we're not supposed to. And that's the thing by learning, to actively always choose to see, okay, if I don't listen for what I already know, instead beyond what I already know, what can I get, what can I learn? So again, it comes down to what also Susan mentioned just earlier, like, it doesn't matter how well developed we are or how much experts we are all, like everyone here in this room, we are the one who need to put ourselves out there. We are the one who needs to be brave. And what does it mean? Yeah, it means these small actions, how you actually open up your own mistakes. If you dare to take contact with that person you haven't spoken to, if you dare to tell, I don't know, if you dare to ask that stupid question, because the best way to contribute to a safe space is to be the first person to dare to step up outside your comfort zone and do that scary thing, and be the one contributing to that. And that's something you as a leader can do, as a colleague, as part of the group. It's everyone. It always comes down to what you as an individual do to create that space. So, with this, I really want to finish up by inviting everyone to dare to grow together and see all the time, but really, how do we change our mindset? The first one is to be aware. I invite you to be your own observer from now on and going forward. See yourself. When you are in a fix, accept it. But remember, to go for a growth mindset, that's a choice. Every single second, it's a choice. It's your mindset. Thank you.